Bohemia was a historical county in Central Europe. Being a part of the Holy Roman Empire, it is perhaps most renowned for its fantastical castles and deep history. Bohemia existed all the way up until 1993, and now the majority of the land that made up Bohemia is now a part of the Czech Republic. The name for this land comes from the Bull, a Celtic tribe who settled in the land that made up Bohemia. If this video is just about how Bohemia got its name, then that's this video done and dusted. Of course, this is far from the case. As while Bohemia, the region of Europe, is now in the history books, it lives on in a rather unlikely place. As an adjective, Bohemian is an adjective used to describe all sorts of things. People can be Bohemian, things can be Bohemian, lifestyles can be Bohemian. Perhaps the most famous use of the adjective Bohemian is with the Queen song Bohemian Rhapsody. Of course, the people who lived in Bohemia were called Bohemians too, but that hasn't really got much to do with how Bohemian is used as an adjective these days. Of course, the adjective Bohemian comes from the name of the place, Bohemia, with the N suffix added to the end, as we see so often with changing a word into an adjective. So while you may have heard the adjective Bohemian, you may not know what exactly it means. I know I wasn't too sure what it meant before making this video. At first I thought it meant to be overly extravagant and fancy, then I realised I was thinking of bourgeoisie, not bohemian, though bourgeoisie could become a video unto itself. Bohemian, also known as Bohemianism, which makes that word the noun adaptation of an adjective adaptation of a noun, has a lot of connotations. To be Bohemian in today's world means to be free-spirited, socially unconventional, informal, and it's especially used for those involved in the world of arts. Poets, artists, musicians are usually the kind of folks who will be associated with being Bohemian. A simple Google image search of Bohemian followed by any noun will help you understand what it means to be Bohemian. So why was it this region of the world that this lifestyle was named after? Was Bohemia that Bohemian? Well, it seems that actual Bohemians, those who lived in Bohemia, weren't that Bohemian at all. While now Bohemian is a term used positively, this wasn't always the case. To call someone Bohemian in this sense doesn't come from the Bohemian residents of Bohemia, but the Roma people, also known as gypsies. Gypsies, travelling people, Roma, Romani, various names for various groups, which too could be a video into itself. They unfortunately seem to be viewed negatively in the public eye, often seen as outsiders and generally unwelcomed, though the Kingdom of Bohemia actually granted the Roma people protection and certain privileges, so when they started to reside in Bohemia, the Roma people too became known as Bohemians. People didn't like the Roma people in Bohemia, so the term Bohemian as an adjective was used to describe people negatively who lived this lifestyle. The Roma people were wanderers, communal, didn't stick to the rules of society. Music, storytelling, and the arts in general are a key part to their lifestyle. At first, being like this was seen as a bad thing, but over time more people, other than the Roma people, started living like this, or at least used aspects of this lifestyle. An important part of the tale of Bohemian becoming the word it is today is the opera La Boheme, an opera about a group of young Bohemian creative types living in Paris in the late 1800s. This opera was the key influence for the stage show Rent, which too featured people living a bohemian lifestyle, but in New York this time. And from here, the word bohemian and the concept of bohemianism has maintained, despite the fall of the kingdom that is its namesake. Bohemia was suggested by Janine Harkins, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explain's patron saint of Bohemia. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that's name could be covered in a Name Explain video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explain Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Name Explain depends on small monthly donations from fans like you to help keep the channel running. Just the small amount of $2 a month helps out in a huge way, grants you patron exclusive Name Explain extras, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you.